All right, welcome back. Today we are going to take a look at the Unit 1 test review. Feel free, you guys, to pause or rewind as needed to go through things. So with that said, we'll get rolling. So this first one just says determine whether each x value is a solution. You're simply just plugging the x values into the equation. If you get a true statement, it's a solution. If you get a false statement, it is not. So in this case, both of them are false. Be careful right here with -2. When you square that, you're going to get positive. So that's really going to be 2 times 4, 8. But be careful right there. Other than that, pretty straightforward. So you're plugging the number in and determine whether or not it's a solution. If you get a true statement, yes. If you get a false statement, then it is no. Types of symmetry is our next question. So you're doing the x-axis and y-axis and origin test for both of these. So you can see I wrote the 3 tests here. For origin, you substitute -x in for x and -y in for y and solve. That one actually works. For the x-axis, you plug -y in for y, and y-axis just the opposite. You plug -x in here. For the first one, the origin test is the one that works. For the second one, I'll bump this up just a tad. For the second one here, it's your y-axis test that works. You plug -x in here. A negative to the 8th power is still a positive x to the 8th. So it is the y-axis test that works for this equation. Number 4, we got a square root equation. So you're going to move the 2 over to the other side. That gets us to this point. To get rid of a square root, you square both sides. And then our final step is to subtract 5. And we find out that x is -1. Okay, absolute value equation. And over here we have a factoring one. I'll tackle this one first. So when you have absolute value, you want to break that into 2 equations. So 3x plus 2 equal to 5 and 3x plus 2 equal to -5. And then we solve each one. So we subtract 2 from both sides, divide by 3, and we get our 2 solutions. X equals 1, x equals -7/3. Do not forget to do this second equation right here. That's the hang up that many students have. They forget to do the second part. Factoring over here, there's a couple ways you can do this. I did it slightly different, and what I did here is I moved all of these numbers over to the right side. The reason that I did that is I wanted to get positive a value. So I wanted the x squared term to be positive. Makes it much simpler, faster to factor than having that negative. So 2 times 4 was 8. 2 numbers that multiply to 8 and add up to -9 are -1 and -8. So you can see I rewrote my middle term as those 2 numbers. Factor this by parts, so take an x out. Get -4 out here. So you see I got a common factor now, 2x minus 1. So now I get to my factors, and we find out that x is 4 and x is 1/2. So again, I took this factor here, set equal to 0, and solve. That's where the half came from. Okay, number 7 here at the bottom of page 1. Got a quadratic. You can see I identified A, B, and C. And part 1, I believe they asked for the discriminant. So we're going to do b squared minus 4ac. So I plug these numbers in. Again, be careful when you take a negative squared, it's a positive. So I get a -316, which means no real roots. And the last part here, they want the quadratic formula. We already did the hard part, the square root part. That's this number right here. So I have 2 plus or minus -316 over 20. And what you find out when we simplify here, I can take a 4 out of this. So it's -316 right there, 4 and 79. So this is 2, square root of -1 is I. So I get it to this point. If you divide a 2 out of here, you get to here. But so that's how we broke that down. So 316 was 4 times 79. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of negative 1 was I. And then I could divide 2 out of these 3 numbers. So you may want to park on this one just for a minute to see the simplification, but that is the justification rational as for y. All right, page 2. So perform the indicate operation standard form. So again, do the indicate operation. Standard form is a plus bi, so make sure you put the real number first. This is a subtraction problem. Do not FOIL. Here we're multiplying. So here we combine like terms, 3 minus 5 for negative 2 and minus 8i. Here I distributed this I first, so 5i plus I squared. I squared is negative 1. I didn't do anything with the second part here. Now I can FOIL this. And when I FOIL, I get right here. Remember, I squared is negative 1. So you see that right here, negative 20I squared is really positive 20. So I end up with 18 plus 14i. So 18 plus 14i. So again, don't forget to simplify that I squared term. All right, next one, a little goofy because of the double square roots. Square root of 12 times the square root of 12 is 12. These middle terms are going to cancel out whether you write them or not because they are conjugates or opposites. And right here, I'm going to end up with negative 5i squared. And that's because the square root of 5 times the negative square root of 5 is this, and I times I is I squared. Negative 5i squared really equals plus 5. So my answer is 17. Solve each inequality. So this first one, we got a compound inequality. You could break it into 2 separate, or you can, I basically did whatever on the inside, on the outside, but it's probably easier to break it into 2 separate ones and add 2 and divide. So bottom line, when you do that, we get x greater than negative 2 and less than or equal to 10/3. So that is a bounded interval. You can see open circle here, closed circle there. Again, if you want to separate this out, negative 8 less than 3x minus 2, and do that half first, and you do 3x minus 2 less than or equal to 8, and do that half second, you'll get down to the same result, so that's fine. Okay, absolute value inequalities. We're going to break this into 2 statements, x minus 4 greater or equal to 17, and then the second one, we switch the inequality, make the 17 negative. Now again, to solve this, we are going to add 4 to both sides. So I end up with x greater than or equal to 21 and x less than or equal to negative 13. That is an OR statement because you cannot do both at the same time. So it's one or the other, and you can see our graph goes in opposite directions. 13 is just a literal equation. It says solve for r in the following equation for the volume of a sphere. So this is just a sphere equation. We're solving for r. So the reciprocal of 4/3 is 3/4. Then I'm going to divide by pi. And then I got to get rid of this cube root here. So the cube. So I take the cube root. So I end up with 3/4 times the volume divided by pi. Take the cube root of that. And then that's how we go from there. Now, if they happen to give you a value, then you could plug it in and see, but they didn't give you a value. It just said solve for r, so we're good to go there. All right, 14. Sum of 2 consecutive natural numbers. So consecutive natural numbers means they're in a row. So we've got x and x plus 1. They add up to 225. And this is a typo. It should say find the 2 numbers, not find the 3 numbers. So this is 2x plus 1. Move the 1 over, we divide. X is 112. X plus 1 is going to be 1 more than that, so 113. So again, that's a typo right there. It should say find the 2 numbers, and that's 112 and 113. And that brings us to our final page, which is some review material. So 1 week ago, bananas were 23 cents a pound. Today, they're 35 cents a pound. Find the percent change. Percent change, you take the new price or the current price minus the old or original. So we're going to take 35 cents minus 23 over 23, and we find the percent increase. They went up by 52.2%. So nearly roughly half of what the price was added onto it in that 1 week span. All right, 16, solve for x in the given equation. So we've got a fraction here. You know we're going to add 5 to, well, actually we'll multiply through by x first, get rid of the fraction. So you see I multiplied everything by x, and when I do that, I get this linear equation without any fractions. The x is on one side, so I got 8x equal to 2, and x is 1/4. So again, I multiplied everything by x. To get rid of the fraction, that got me right here. Get the x's on one side, get the numbers on the other, and x is 1/4 or 0.25. Standard form of a circle. We've got a center point and a point on the circle. So we've got to find the radius. So we're going to do the distance formula first between those 2 points. So I do the distance formula here between this point and the center point. It gives me my r squared value. And then I can do my equation of a circle, which is this right here. So x minus -4 is x plus 4 squared, y minus 6 squared equal to the radius squared. Okay, simplifying each expression, we're going to cube this part first. So 4 cubed is 64, x to the 9th, y to the 3rd. Now I can multiply these together, so 192. Add the exponents for the x's, so x to the 11th, y to the 3rd. Here we have a cube root. Cube root of 125, or 125 to the 1/3 power is 5. And we're going to divide these exponents by 3. So 3 goes into 7 2 times with 1 left over. 3 goes into 9 3 times with none left over. In our last problem, 12 over 16 is 3/4. We're going to subtract our exponents. So 3 minus 0 is p to the 3rd. 2 minus -5 is s to the 7th. So that one is also in the numerator. So that's our test review. Again, feel free to pause at any point or rewind as you need to, but we got an explanation for each one. Should be all set for tomorrow for your test. So knock it out of the park and do well, and we'll go from there. Thanks.